The story of my life remains written on these pages. My fate has always been my own. Every deed, every choice, and every person I met made me what I am. Could I have really taken a different path? Found a different calling? Altered the very course of history? And what price would I have to pay?
Hello everybody, and welcome to the life and suffering of Sir Brante in times of the fall of the blessed Arknian Empire. So this game was just suggested to me not long ago by one of my subscribers. Thank you, Chris. I'm not actually really sure about it. I know that it was suggested based upon if I liked suzerain and having to make certain choices, and it looks really interesting from what I read on Steam. I'll link the Steam store page down below. I believe right now chapters 1 and 2 are out, so you can pick that up right now, and it's completely free. It's free of charge. You can go ahead and try it out for yourself. But yeah, it gives me that choice of game feel that I typically like in a lot of games here recently, and it also gives me that choice of game feel that you get from Suzerain. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. I think there's supposed to be an episodic release. I'm not sure how many episodes it's supposed to be, but yeah, let's jump into it. Enter your character's name. Of course, we will be Sir Daeron. Choose your name carefully. Other characters will address you exactly like this. Game mode. Chapter restarts. Sure. You will be able to rewind to the beginning of any chapter you have completed and continue from that point. Sure. Consequences. You will see the consequences of your possible choices in advance. This is the recommended game mode, as you will be able to direct the character's fate in the way you want. Interesting. Okay, or it can be hidden. You will not see the consequences of your possible choices in advance. Choose this option if you want to discover the results of your decision only after you've taken it. You can change this setting at any point. I'll go with the open, since that's what's recommended. So yeah, let's see. Before you lies the story of a single man. You will take on the role of Sir Brante and determine his goal and fate in life, from his birth to his true death. Our hero is unfortunate enough to be born in a cruel and ruthless world, one that is different from ours in many ways that may not be immediately apparent. This means that you must be ready to learn the ways of this world one step at a time. Your every decision will affect our hero's personality and family, his friends and foes, and even the outcomes of important events. The decisions you make will ultimately influence the state of affairs throughout the nation. When given a choice, choose whatever feels right for the world and for yourself. How will you live this life entrusted into your care? Will Sir Brante turn the tide of history, or will he be ground into dust by the millstone of fate? This is for you to decide. Okay. Interesting. At the end of time, your fingers are stained with ink. Your breathing grows ragged. Your hands are shaking, yet the words begin appearing on the page before you one by one, clinging together to form a chronicle of your own life. Who are you, and how did you reach this end? You were born, raised, and lived your entire life in the blessed Arknian Empire. In this land, a man's destiny is predetermined at the moment of his birth. Whether human or Arknian, nobleman or priest, low-born commoner, all bend to the divine will of the twin gods. And each life is naught but a single cog in the universe's immeasurable machine. The memories come flooding back. They engulf you as a merciless wave, binding together days that are thrice dead and gone. The dreams of your childhood, your adolescence, your youth spent in the capital, years of peace teeming with life, and a war drenched in blood, high ranks and lowly deeds, opulent palaces, secretive city backstreets, fields of battle, and faces, so many faces of the people you held dear, the people who walked this road by your side. Such was your life, now all exposed by ink erupting onto the page. With your every step, you sought to change the world as you saw fit. The choices of your upbringing, the path you carved in your youth, the fruits of your struggle, the consequences of your sacrifice, all of it led you to here, to the end of your time. and every choice had a price. Now, years and years later, the crossroads of your life echo in your memory. The pain and joy inextricably intermingled. Oh God. Could you have taken a different path, chosen a different calling, found a different place in the world? You had the power to alter the very course of history. Now, on the verge of death, you struggle with doubt, seeking answers to the last and most crucial question of all: your life. Of all paths in life, why did you walk this one? Did you choose your own fate, or was your life shaped by forces beyond your control? What determines a man's destiny? Okay, so there's going to be, of course, many different choices you can have throughout this game, but I'll just go ahead and just, I won't have a particular path that I'm just going, just whatever I feel at the moment, that's what we'll go with. Let me see, the man himself. Your life has always been yours to live. You made your own destiny, the world around him. Your path was charted for you by the people, the age, and the society which you live, a higher power. Your destiny was forged by a power greater than your own will. There is no destiny. Destiny does not exist. Human life is an exercise in chance. It is not governed by any laws. I'll say the man himself. You can hear death's footsteps drawing near. You square your shoulders and take a deep, full breath. You have found your final answer. What is destiny other than a long chain of your own actions and decisions? No matter what happened in your life, you always had a choice. You lived the life you deserve. Only you can answer for it. But are you right about this? Is it all true? To learn the truth, you will have to return to the very beginning, remembering every step you took along the way. On these pages, the story of a man named Daeron Brante will live once more. Or Brante, I'm not quite sure. Oh, nice. Okay. Got a little timeline here. Okay. Chapter 1, Childhood. And I really like the artwork, too. It's really cool. Childhood, where life begins. First words, first unsteady steps. You are but a small child learning about the world in which you were born. To you, everything is so new, so baffling, and so unforgiving. A long, trying life stretches before you. So many feats and faults, so many fateful choices to come. Yet you are already sowing the seeds of your future self. You are learning to live and survive in this world, looking for a place within it to call your own, choosing your future destiny. Who will you grow up to be? Okay. Childhood, where life began. Okay. Alright, so this is where I just determine certain things. Important life events that may happen to you in this chapter. Fencing lessons. You dare to study fencing like your father, even though you have no right to it by birth. Beyond? As a small child, you suffer your first death and rebirth. Okay, so you can die and come back. Insight. You experience an insight when your mother tells you about the ways of the world and the lots of its inhabitants. Nobleman's sacrament. You challenge the sacred order and attempt to seize a noble lot. Interesting. Well, I definitely want some power, so there's that. What are these right here? Destiny, personality, House of Brante, family. We'll unlock in Chapter 2, Adolescence. Chapter 3, Chapter 2. Okay, alright. Your personal qualities at this age, they determine which choices you may take. Determination, spineless. Perception, inattentive. Determination represents your perseverance and strength of character, your ability to get your way. It affects your frame of mind and the skills you have when you grow up. Perception represents how attentive you are to other people and the world around you, your ability to comprehend and learn. It affects your frame of mind and the skills you have when you grow up. Okay. And it can go, determination can go from spineless, active, resolute to relentless. And this can go from inattentive, curious, inquisitive, and insightful. Okay. Willpower represents your remaining inner strength and readiness for action. It is expanded on difficult choices. It is expended on difficult choices. Okay. Deaths. Untouched by death. After suffering a lesser death, one is reborn. One who dies a true death faces the judgment of twin gods. So you can die, what, 4 times? Okay. The section that opens in this chapter, Destiny screen is now available. Personality screen, House of Brante, and I just looked at that. Okay. Let's begin the chapter. Okay, I'm curious to see how this goes. At first, there was nothing. No time, no sensation, nothing but darkness and void. But then a will breathed life unto nothingness. Matter and spirit were set in motion. History began its march. It was your turn to enter this world. Your first memory, you're lying on your back, blinded by a bright white light. You're not alone. Above you tower the colossal figures of those who created you. You are a part of them. They are a part of you. Between you and them is an inexplicable connection, a strong, unbreakable link. They will always watch over you, guard you, and protect you. It hurts to breathe. You let out the pain in the form of a desperate scream. Your creators extend their hands towards you. There are 2 of them, the ones who made your form from their own selves and brought you into this world. They are united, yet as they lean closer, you begin to see how different they are. You can already feel their differences within you, struggling against each other. The first figure is soft and empathetic, wise and merciful. The love that emanates from it wraps you head to toe like an invisible blanket. The warmth from it is never ending. The second figure is strong and powerful, commanding and noble. It is harsh but fair, a beacon of guidance, a force of protection, and merciless punishment for every misdeed. Yet there is also a third figure. It is like a shadow barely seen behind them, yet already pulsing with an unbreakable will to live. It is the very will to live that is now growing ever stronger within you. A soft open palm, a strong closed fist, a lingering distant shadow. You struggle to loosen the swaddling clothes wrapped around you and extend a tiny hand into this world. I will reach out to the palm. I get +1 perception. I reach out to fist, get +1 determination, now 0. And if I reach out or if I smile at the shadow, I get +10 willpower. Jesus. And it's at 5 right now. The rest are at 0. Well, I think I'll reach out to the fist first. Determination. Yeah, I'll go ahead for that. The fist is stiff, coarse, and even unpleasant to the touch. But this firm hand belongs to your father. A tiny newborn, you are helpless before the full-grown man. Your little hand practically challenges him and his strength, and he accepts the challenge. Got +1 for determination. I am now spineless, thanks. Your father's fist opens. His hand strokes your little hand gently, if somewhat awkwardly. It is a tender gesture, a glimpse into something he will seldom let show in the years to come. Birth in the year 1118. Okay, 1118. Your life in this world begins. How will you live it? Now it's 1119. Hide and seek. As the days go by, you learn to tell your parents apart. You recognize father by his heavy breath, and strong, cold hands. He visits you rarely. Sounds like I'm a bastard. Hello there, little Daeron. Mother's tender voice, however, follows you day and night. Lydia Brante. My, you're growing so quickly, my child. There are two more children in the family, named Stephen and Gloria. Gloria sings songs to you. She often dresses you in tight clothing and gently holds your hands as you learn to take your first steps. Stephen likes to sweep you up and pinch you and toss you into the air. Oh look, this is your brother and sister. Yeah, you're my little brother. We're gonna play together. But I'll always be in charge because you were born a commoner. Be quiet, you. He doesn't understand yet. Come on, baby Daeron. Let's go play in the yard. It is hot outside. You grip your brother's hand with one hand and your sister's with another as they help you walk down the giant stone stairs. Then you sit on the ground and start exploring the sparse blades of grass with your fingers. It tickles. In the sky far above and away from you is a gigantic pillar, a perfectly straight stick made of light. It is so bright it hurts to look at. Why are you staring at the shining pillar? It's not going anywhere, you know. Hey, I want to play hide and seek. He's just a little baby. How's he gonna play? Then you hide him, and I'll try to find both of you. You have no idea what they are talking about, but you support them with happy cooing. This is strange, but so exciting. Stephen and Gloria glance at each other. Then your brother walks to a big tree, closes his eyes, and starts shouting something. Gloria takes your hand and walks you through the yard. Your sister takes you behind some thick bushes by a tall wall. The light from that light stick on the horizon barely reaches you. You can't see home from this place. The ground is crawling with tiny black bugs. Gloria sits you down on the ground and puts a finger to her mouth for some reason, and then she's gone. You can no longer hear Stephen's voice. Gloria is nowhere to be seen. You feel colder. The bugs are no fun to play with. You've been sitting here for a long time, completely alone. Nobody checks on you. Did they forget about you? Did they abandon you? I can cry loudly, find my way home, or sit there and wait. If I sit here and wait, I'll get +1 perception, or I can get determination. I think I'll get the perception, because I always like having characters that can perceive the things around them and are pretty smart, so let's do perception. The bush is covered with leaves swaying in the wind. You brush through them with your fingers. The twigs and branches are stiff and will not bend. They are different from the blades of grass. Down on the ground, you see a group of bugs carrying a little twig. You grab it from them. They're so funny. One of the bugs crawls on your finger and bites it, just enough to sting a little. You hear brisk steps, then the leaves and twigs rustling and parting. Your mother leans over you. You greet her with a happy face and show her the finger with the bug on it. So that's where they took you. Mother picks you up, puts you to her chest, and pats you on the head. Your brother and sister stand behind her, clearly feeling guilty. Gloria is in tears. Stephen keeps staring at his feet. You hug Mother tightly. She is here now. And now I am inattentive. It is 11:20, and I'm 2. The Great Descent. Another memory. You are still a little child, but you can already talk and run around your own. Today is out of the ordinary. Father is busy around the house, giving orders to the servants. Throughout the day, the kitchen has been abuzz with work, and there are solemn, gloomy preparations and candles being lit. Even your older brother Stephen is quiet today. Mother takes your hand and brings you to your sister Gloria. My son, today is the Great Descent. We honor the day when the twin gods descend to us. We must spend this day in reverence to the gods. You are too young to understand, so just do everything your sister says for now. Gloria takes you to the playroom. There are no toys there, no chairs. Even the carpet has been taken away. There's nothing there but a bare wooden floor. Today we're not allowed to go to any other rooms, and we'll be eating nothing but gruel and stale bread. On the day of the Great Descent, Everyone must be where they belong. It is quiet, unusually so. Muffled voices from beyond the door are all you can hear. You are sitting on the cold floor, confused, with no idea what to do. Then you hear your sister's voice, a lonely sound in the empty room. It is a little song that Mother taught her. You hold your breath as you listen to it. When the twins came down to the earth, they brought lots for every birth. Let us count them, 1, 2, 3. The twins made them for you and me. Nobles rule and bravely fight. They protect us with their might. Priests work hard to understand, guide us by the twins' commands. Common people work and toil, always patient, never spoiled. Live your lot where you were born, till the day when you pass on. Know your lot and know the prayer, for the twins see everywhere. You are transfixed by the tune. Gloria notices your gaze, and a smile creeps across her face. You like the rhyme, don't you, Daeron? Do you know what it's all about? Look, there are 3 lots. They were brought to us by the twins when they descended to us from the shining pillar. Remember that pillar of light on the horizon? That's it. You can see the shining pillar anytime, from anywhere in the world. If you follow your lot as you live, you will reach the peak of the pillar. And if you don't, you will get eternal torment at the foot. You and I are lowborn. Mom is a commoner too. So the lot for you and me is to suffer and be patient and work hard. Understand? The priests and the nobles have other lots. The nobles fight and rule over everybody. The priests, well, I'm not really sure what they do, but I guess they talk to the twins and then teach everybody. Gloria stares at you intently. Did you get it? Silly. Oh, sorry. Gloria stares at you intently. Did you get it, silly? Then she shakes her head and keeps singing the song over and over again. Her voice transfixes you, drawing you in. The room starts to glow like the sky. From this light emerges 2 figures you have known ever since the moment of your birth. One of them embraces your sister's shoulder. The other stands guard behind her back. You watch this happening before your very eyes, unable to turn away. Gloria is swaying to the song, unaware of what is happening. She sings the final verses once more. Know your lot and know your prayer. You feel compelled by this divine sight to express yourself somehow. You feel words condensing within you from the light. But what will these words be? Determination or perception? Again, I'm going to go with perception. Finish the song properly. Know your lot and know the prayer, for the twins see everywhere. You sing the last line together with Gloria. Your sister looks up at you in surprise and gives you a nod. The shining pair standing behind her back turn to look at you. You can feel their gaze piercing you from top to bottom. When the moment passes, they melt into the dim light coming from the window. Gloria turns her head to look at where you were standing. Did you see something, Daeron? Oh, staring, sorry. You shake your head. Not anymore. And I am now curious. I feel like I should kind of work on some of these other stats, but we'll see how it goes. You are starting to understand more and more of what the adults say. Your family is an unusual one. Your father is a nobleman, but not by birth. His is a title earned through great service. But your mother is a low-born woman, a commoner. Because of this, you were born a commoner, but father says you may yet come unto nobility. You learn to read at an early age. Together with mother, you read and learn by heart the many poems about the divine twins, the twin gods who reside upon the shining pillar. Mother called these poems prayers. Again and again, you try to discern the shapes of the gods in the strip of holy light that shines in the sky all day and night, but the light is too blinding to gaze upon. The greatest joy of all is when the stairs are no longer an insurmountable obstacle. Now you can climb and even jump from step to step. Father urges you to be more careful and avoid climbing too high. But even though you keep falling, you never stop being curious about the world around you. Your older brother Stephen now spends less and less time playing with Gloria and you. Playing with commoners is beneath a nobleman to be, he says. So Gloria calls him names, and Stephen pulls her pigtails. One fine evening, Father gathers you all in the sitting room with an announcement. You will have another little brother or sister soon. Gloria asks him to bring home a little sister. Another brother would be too much. Stephen gets frustrated. There are too many little siblings getting in his way already. Soon you will be an older brother too, and it doesn't really matter who the youngest will be, boy or girl, you will love them the most. When Father comes back from his trips, he reads his adult books aloud for you. You find those stories of wars and generals and rebellions enchanting, and Father approves of your fascination. Study hard, and maybe one day you'll become a noble of the mantle and earn your sword. But first you need to grow up. Growing up, the concept is as terrifying as it is alluring. That's very true. The lot of suffering. You keep staring at the carpet under your feet. You're both ashamed and proud, and it feels odd. A scratch on your hand stings a little. Stephen is standing next to you, sniffling from pain. Your brother was training in the yard with a wooden sword. You wanted to play with him, but he ended up getting angry and throwing the sword at you. The stick hit you in the shoulder. You picked it up and hit him with it. You see Mother's shoes walking to and fro on the carpet. You do not want to look up. You would rather not see her angry. She is not as gentle to you these days. Why did you hurt Stephen, Daeron? You stammer out an explanation. He hit you first. You just hit him back. How dare he pester me like that? When I grow up, I'm gonna hit you with a real sword. Mother shushes you both and speaks to you again. Her voice is stern, and yet you can still feel her concern for you. Even if Stephen hits you, you cannot hit him back. You are my son, and I was born a commoner. Our lot is to suffer. But your brother was born from a noble father and a noble mother. His sacrament is coming soon, and then he'll rule over the likes of us. If you hurt a noble, you must be punished. That is your lot, and the sooner you learn it, the better off our entire family will be. What sort of BS is this? Now Stephen looks at you in triumph. You look up at Mother in fear, not sure what to do now. Let's see. I can accept my punishment, and my relation with Stephen will go up. I can deny my guilt, get +1 determination, or I can demand an explanation. Also, if I accept my punishment, I lose all my willpower right now, so I don't know if I get it back. So I will demand an explanation. You start asking questions. Are you born a commoner if your father is a noble? If you have your father's name, why can't you have his lot? And why can't you choose a lot for yourself if you don't like the one you have? Mother is stunned by all the questions you are peppering her with. Don't you dare ask me about that, Daeron. I'll violate my lot if I start explaining it all to you. I'm a commoner, not a priest. Jesus, I can't even ask questions? You are flogged in front of your entire family. The pain burns on your skin again and again. Tears keep rolling down your cheeks. It feels like the punishment will never end. It hurts to walk when you are finally let go. You slowly climb the stairs and walk to your room. You see a book on your bed. The Teachings of Isaiah, Volume 2. Your tears have dried now. You begin to read, slowly making your way through the difficult words. Every death of the body bringeth the soul ever closer to the twins' judgment. And when the body dieth a true death, the soul soareth to the shining pillar. The twin gods do judge every soul, and their judgment is stern and unforgiving. He who followeth his lot in life from birth shall melt in bliss atop the peak of the shining pillar. The words confuse and elude you, instilling fear and awe. You will read this mysterious book again and again as you grow up. And my perception is now 3. I might see if I can get to the next level, which would be Inquisitive. And then after that, I'll start working on some other stats. Glorious rhymes. Mother mostly stays in her chambers now. With each passing day, she grows heavier and her features get rounder. It gets difficult for her to walk, but she still smiles all the time. One day, she takes your hands and put them on her big belly, and you feel a movement deep inside her. You will have another brother or sister soon. Gloria takes you on walks to the yard now. You explore the yard together under the evening light of the pillar. She sings you songs and tells you amazing stories. Hey Daeron, do you want to hear a rhyme? I wrote it myself. There's even a bit about you, but don't tell anyone, okay? Writing poems and songs is only for nobles. If mommy hears about it, I'll get flogged. Remember how you got flogged for hitting Stephen? Our judge is my second father. In the past, I had another. Mother says the twins are great, says we should not fight our fate. Brother loves to jump around, please don't fall down on the ground. See, I wrote a little rhyme, please don't tell them it is mine. But today, your sister is nowhere to be seen. She promised to take you to the old pond and show you the red frogs that lived there, but then she vanished. The servants join you in your search. Even Mother leaves her chambers when she hears the commotion. Finally, you find Gloria in the far corner of the garden. She is holding a quill and sheets of paper covered in poetry. Mother becomes angry the moment she sees it. She looks through the poetry and her face grows dark with rage. Gloria is standing before her, wringing her hands and looking for an opportunity to run, but there seems to be no escape. What is this nonsense, Gloria? We talked about this. You were told to take care of your little brother. You are absolutely not allowed to entertain yourself with this writing. I can decide that for myself, Mom. No, you cannot. It has already been decided by the gods. And he is not a little brother anymore. He doesn't need a nanny. And I need some time alone to think for myself. I'm not hurting anyone. You are a commoner and a future wife. It's time you learn how to properly care for children. Had your disgraceful former father kept me in his house, you could have been born a noble, but that is not our fate, and you are absolutely forbidden from ever spoiling paper and wasting ink again. Jesus. Mother grabs Gloria firmly by the hand and takes you both into the house. The scribbled sheets fly into the fireplace. Gloria sobs violently. You are a bystander to this scene, unsure of how to act. I would get more willpower if I left the room. If I comforted my sister, I would lose all my willpower, and my relationship with Gloria would go up. Or I could offer to write rhymes with her. That will get my perception up. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and do this, and then that'll get me into the, I think, Inquisitive is what it is. Mother leaves. The last of your sister's poetry burns away in the fireplace. You hug your sister and whisper to her. Let's go to the library, you say. The two of you can hide under the table and write something together. Gloria shakes her head violently. Mother said no, and there's no way she would ever defy her. You reassure her that it will be your secret. You pull Gloria to the library. She fights you, but you refuse to relent. You carefully peek inside. Your sister takes a small book from one of the shelves, and you read it together under the table. It's a book of poetry about eternal love. Gloria clearly adores it. You decide to write a poem of your own. She recites a line in an ecstatic voice, and you repeat it after her and offer a rhyme of your own. She nods happily. You do this until the day ends. You've written a poem of your own and learned it by heart, but not a single line of it has been committed to paper, which means that you stayed true to your mother's rule. Okay, alright, learning to kind of get around certain things there. And now I am inquisitive. Okay, so I'll leave it at that for right now, and then I'll start working on other stuff. Actually, what other stats do I want to work on? And now I'm 4. Let's see. Okay. Year 112. I mean, Jesus Christ. The year 1122, winter, the coming sacrament. Mother is in her armchair knitting woolen jackets, pants, and socks for the little one. The baby will need to be kept warm, she says. Father spends less time at home now. Mother says he's very busy with his important job. He's a judge, after all. One day you decide to ask Mother about Stephen and Gloria. How come they're brother and sister to you, but not siblings to each other? Well, my dear, I didn't give birth to Stephen, you see. He's the son of another mother, and Gloria is the daughter of another father. Come now, don't knit your brow like that. You'll understand when you're older. How's that even possible? You're all family, aren't you? Several days later, Mother calls Stephen and Gloria to the sitting room. You sneak in after them. At first, Mother gets angry and asks you to leave, but then she relents. You're told to sit still, be quiet, and remember every word you hear. When you enter the temple, bow to the twins, first to the elder on the right, and then to the younger on the left. Stephen, you're a nobleman to be, so walk along the side paved with marble, where the benches are. Gloria, you walk along the sharp side. When you're there, you must get down on your knees, each on your own side. Stephen, kiss the sword. Gloria, my daughter, they will strike you with the lash. Don't be afraid of it. Resign yourself to the suffering it brings. It is the blessing of your lot. That's not a blessing? What the hell? Gloria doesn't like the idea of the lash. There's a tense feeling in your chest as well. You were told to remember this. Will the lash strike you too one day? On the next day, they take your brother and sister to the temple. You run towards them when they finally come back. The back of Gloria's dress is soaked with blood. She's hunched a bit, sobbing quietly. Stephen is putting on airs, acting prouder than ever. Nothing else looks different about them. It's like everything's the same, and yet nothing is the same anymore. Each of them has accepted their lot. He has general indifference towards me. That's always great for your brother to have. Unity, -1, represents how close and trusting your family is. It affects the fate of your family members. I mean, I would assume I would be at least a little bit closer to my sister, but I guess not. And I guess that's just the way things are gonna be. Huh. Brother and sister sacrament. The year 1122. Your siblings Stephen and Gloria took their first sacrament at the temple. You eye the little bundle in your father's arms with curiosity. Behind the many layers of swaddling clothes is your newborn baby brother. Mother is glowing and smiling with joy. Stephen and Gloria are here, all excited. You promise yourself you're going to be the best big brother in the world. You'll never hit him. Oh no. The two of you will play together and tease Stephen together and help Mother together and go on so many adventures together. It feels so strange to be an older brother. Just the other day, you were the youngest in the family, but everything is different now. Your parents name your little brother Nathan, and Mother spends day and night by his side. And Nathan cries all the time, day and night. Mother barely gets any sleep. She is so worn out, she starts forgetting things. Like today, for instance, she forgot her knitting in the armchair in the sitting room. You'd better bring it back to her as soon as possible. You run to Mother's bedroom. You miss her smile so much. You walk in without saying hello and give her the knitting, but instead of gratitude, you get an ice-cold, exhausted stare. Nathan is also there, screaming all the time. Go away, Daeron. You're bothering me. She spits these words out through her teeth. You look at the bawling newborn. She can't even get a minute of respite. Enough already. When are you going to stop? I just want some peace and quiet. Mother leaps across the room and starts shaking. Nathan with malice in her eyes. His cries get even louder. She looks so tired from his never-ending screams. She seems to be within an inch of smashing him against the wall. Somebody has to do something. You're scared of your mother right now, but you fear for Nathan's life much more. Oh boy. Okay, let's see my stats here. Where is my stats? Let's see. Personality. I'm probably gonna need determination. So let's do some determination, shall we? I shall redirect her anger to myself. Mother keeps shaking Nathan violently, and you cannot stay away any longer. He is no longer bawling, he's shrieking. Just leave me alone. But then out comes your voice, so loud it drowns out their cries. No, it's not Nathan's fault, Mother. You're just tired. Please don't do anything to my little brother. If you have to punish somebody, punish me instead. He's too young. He won't understand. Your mother freezes and looks at you, her eyes two narrow slits. Her stare is cold and full of pure wrath, so pure you cannot help but recoil in fear. Are you trying to teach me how to take care of a child? Are you giving me lessons on calming a newborn baby? You're insolent, insipid, nagging, know-it-all. It's time you learned your place. She puts Nathan on the bed sheets, then moves towards you. You step back, but a closed door blocks your way. She slaps you across the face. Your ears ring from the heavy blow, and your cheek burns from her wrath. You wince and close your eyes, expecting a second slap, but nothing comes. Nothing but Mother's heavy breath and Nathan's shrill cries. Then there's a knock at the door. You step aside. Father walks in. He looks at you, clutching a reddened cheek at the bawling baby, at Mother, her eyes red with rage and tears, her breath heavy and ragged. Go to your room, son. I'll join you soon. You do as you're told. Back in your room, you press your aching cheek against the cold window, hurt and dazed by what just happened. Soon enough, Nathan stops crying. You hear Father's heavy footsteps in the hallway. He comes into your room and sits on the bed next to you. Son, please do not be angry with your mother. The twins know she wishes nobody harmed. This is a difficult time for her, but we will make it through it as a family. You stepped up to protect your brother. You acted like a little nobleman today. I'm proud of you. Your mother and Nathan are resting now. How bad does it hurt? You shake your head. Not bad, but your hand still aches to clutch the cheek. Father embraces you with a sorrowful smile and gingerly pats you on the head as you press your forehead into his housecoat. Things grow calm now. The trouble has passed and you are quietly happy. Okay, so now I'm active. In the year 1122, your younger brother Nathan is born. I'm gonna have a rough time with my family. I can see it now. It's not gonna be great. Toy soldiers. You wake up to Father's touch on your shoulder. He's finally back home after a long trip. Daeron, today is your special day, the day when you begin your studies. Now, teachers will be coming to our home to teach you, and you must do everything they say. Be diligent in your studies, and you will grow closer to the nobleman's lot. And since you must remember this day, a present is in order. Lydia, get our little schoolboy dressed. I'm taking him to the market district. Stephen wants to come with you too, but Father shushes him sternly. This is your day. Your elder brother is hurt to hear this, but stays quiet. Yeah, you douche. An open carriage takes the two of you through the dusty, noisy city streets, a pleasant wind tussling your hair. Your city is called Anazet, that you already know. It is one of the largest cities in the entire empire. There's a big shadow on the street. It comes from the white foliage of an enormous tree that spreads its branches all above the city. My son, did you know that the silver tree grew from the blood of our God's own disciples? It has been growing here for hundreds of years, right in our city. It cannot be damaged or burned. Not even the clergy know why. The carriage comes to a halt by a small shop next to a city square. You run there and freeze by the stalls in excitement. The shop is packed with dolls and figurines and toys. You've never seen so many at once before. Have you chosen your present yet? Father asked. You have. You want the Holy Order set, which includes several figurines, all of the... good God. Okay, sorry about that. You want the Holy Order set, which includes several figurines of the Empire's greatest warriors of all times. You rattle off everything you know about the Holy Order. They were the ones who aided the Emperor's own forces in seizing the province of Magra and storming our city. That's how we joined the Empire. Father nods in approval. Very well. War isn't your lot for now, but maybe these toy soldiers will teach you to think like a general. We will lead them into battle and study military strategy. Go ahead, take your present. Having said this, Father turns away to examine the books. You run to the box of toy soldiers, delirious with excitement. But there is a fancy-dressed boy in your way. He is about to take your warriors for himself. He elbows you aside and reaches for the box. Anger overcomes you, and you push him from behind. Your opponent falls to the floor. The rich boy screams so loudly everybody in the shop hears it. He hit me! He hit me! A tall tower of a man looms over you. This is the boy's father. But then you feel your own father's hands on your shoulders. What happened? You press against father, your mind more at ease now. He will protect you. Yes, you shoved the boy to the floor in front of everyone, but he tried to take your present for himself. Father turns you around to face him when he hears these words. Is this true, Daeron? Did you strike the son of a nobleman? Oh, shit. Let's see here. Well. Damn it. I did say I was working on determination. Also, why are these two different? I guess one is telling him the story, and then the other one is just admitting to this and then just accepting the punishment. So, determination. It isn't fair to blame you without letting you speak too. You didn't want to shove that stupid boy. He was the one who shoved you first. But the angry nobleman, the boy's father, will not let you finish. Nobody cares a whit for your so-called truth, little lowborn. The law is the law, and your punishment is due. Your father nods in agreement to these words, no matter how sad they may make him. They lead you and the nobleman's son out of the shop. You are told to bow to him and show humility. A bad feeling sends a shiver down your spine. With a satisfied grin on his face, the boy swings his arm and slaps you on the cheek. He strikes you again and again. Enough. He got what he deserved. We're leaving. Get out of our way. Your head is swimming from the heavy blows. You return to your senses back in your bed, with service treating your face. Father stays by your side all day. The morning after, you find a little box on your bed with the 10 soldiers of the Holy Order inside. You pay dearly for your stubbornness. Oh boy. This sounds like a very shitty existence. This has got to change, and I will be more than happy to initiate that change. $11.24. I'm now 6. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Conditions met. Perception greater than or equal to 4. The ant farm. Your younger brother Nathan is growing. Mother spends more time with the rest of the family now. You help her and play with your brother and take care of him when she asks. You often go to Mother's room to sit at the foot of her bed after Nathan falls asleep. She reads you the sacred books and asks you about the things you learned that day. During these moments, you see the world through her eyes as well. One day, the door of your room opens and she brings in a large box covered with a piece of cloth. It is rare for you to see her so overjoyed. She sets the box on the floor and removes the cloth. The box under the cloth is made of glass and has a wooden base. Inside, you see a layer of earth shaped into carefully crafted passages, and these passages are full of hard-working ants. Daeron, this is my gift to you, an ant farm. It is a little world in a small box. We can watch them through the glass. Look, this is the queen ant. She is the reason all these little ants were born. You sit by the box together. You hold your breath as you watch the ant colony at work. There turns out to be a method to the ants' chaotic movements. Every single one of them has a task to perform. Some of them have larger mandibles. They are the protectors of the colony. They can draw the blood from your finger. Others work all around the colony, repairing the walls and clearing any debris from the passages. There are also workers who collect food you put in a special tray, leaves, bits of meat, maggots, and bring it to the rest of the colony. You take a worker ant and put it right next to the food. However, the insect has no interest in it. It starts circling around the tray aimlessly. Mother takes the stray ant and puts it back where it belongs. Why did you do that, my son? The ants cannot do what they weren't born to do. Each of them was born for their own job. You shake your head slowly. If only the ants could do whatever you wanted them to. This is your gift now, so they belong to you. Or maybe Mother's presence is the reason they won't obey. Okay, I can keep playing with Mother, who just smacked the ever-loving God out of me not too long ago. Or I can play by myself. Get less unity, but I get more perception and insight. Interesting. I think I'll do that. I don't foresee this turning out well for my current family, but perhaps later on down the road I'll have high enough stats and then I can make a much better family as opposed to the one that I'm unfortunately blessed with. You move away from Mother and pull the glass box towards yourself. She looks at you in surprise, but she gave it to you. It'll be easier to learn about the ants on your own. Mother sighs and stands back up. Very well, I understand. You want to find your own answers. You've grown up so quickly, my son. Yeah, I think you hit me so hard it actually forced me to grow up. The door creaks quietly as it closes, and you are left to your own devices. You spend a long time watching the ants at work, and then you decide to go outside and find them some bugs to feed on. Once your haul is in the tray, you note which bugs they drag away and which they leave untouched. Day after day, you keep the tray full of food, provide the insects with plenty of water, and remove dead ants from the farm. Your tiny subjects still refuse to change their peculiar ways. It's just as Mother said, the ant farm is exactly like the world we live in. The ants will never know what you are, know that you are there. Jesus. We have disagreements. Oh boy. But my perception went up. You experience an insight when your mother tells you about the ways of the world and the lots of its inhabitants. Okay. So I wonder what would happen if I had more determination or anything. I guess it would have been different events and such. Interesting. Year 1124, the summer. The family dinner. Today, Father ordered the dinner table to be brought out into the yard. For the first time in months, he's home outside of the confines of his always locked study. He spent the entire day playing with Nathan and you, discussing various matters with Stephen, now an adolescent, and walking in the garden. And now a dinner under the open sky. Your entire family gathers together, with Father at the head of the table, smiling. He asks each of you about your studies. Nathan climbs up on his knee and recites a counting rhyme in a funny sing-song voice. Stephen mentions that his fencing teacher praised his accomplishments. He rises from the table together with Father to show his skill in a practice duel. Next comes Gloria's turn. She stands on her chair and recites a lengthy prayer by heart. Mother showers your sister with praise. Father chuckles quietly, hiding a smile in his mustache. When your turn comes, you recite all the ranks in the Legion, from common soldier to high commander. Stephen listens to you with a skeptical look on his face. Night slowly falls, but the servants ensure that the yard is well illuminated. You don't feel cold in the dust tonight. It feels so good, so important. All of you are finally together, sitting at the same table. No fights, just smiles. No arguing, just pleasant small talk. Then a servant approaches father with a letter in his hand. He reads it in the dim light, and each line washes the smile off father's face until only a stone-cold mask remains. Mother looks at father with an unspoken question in her eyes. Gregor Brante is coming back to Anazet. He's the head of our family. My father. Oh boy. Your grandfather, Gregor Brante, returned to the family home from the capital. I'm guessing this isn't going to be good. The intrusion. Ever since the news of grandfather's impending arrival, there has not been a single day when the house has not been cleaned or decorated. Your parents anxiously make sure everything is in order. They tell you to wash your face and hands after walks and scold you for leaving books on the floor. They tell Gloria she will be flogged if she is ever seen hiding in the attic. Jesus. They make Stephen stay in his room. Even baby Nathan gets in trouble. Everyone is on edge. Then one day, grandfather arrives. It is a grim day, so hot your neck is sticky with sweat. Father, mother, Stephen, Gloria, you, and Nathan, the entire Bronte family stands on the porch in front of the house. The house servants lined up behind you. The carriage arrives and out steps a tall, gaunt old man with a heavy walking stick and a heavier gaze. You cringe instinctively. Good health to you, father. Children, greet your grandfather as you have been taught. Still trying to look like a real nobleman, are you? You can't fool me, Robert. I was the first of the Bronte family to be ennobled by the mantle, and I am the only one who remembers how to bear this burden properly. Oh great, he's a jerk. I live honorably by my lot. Your marriage to that lowborn wench cuts us off from ever becoming nobles of the sword. My progeny could have been born bearing noble blood. Father, I beg you, this is not the place. Grandfather eyes him with scorn and walks into the house, the entire family following close behind. I've been away far too long. The entire house is a mess. This is an insult. How can you live in such a pigsty, Robert? The servants have grown far too lazy, all thanks to your commoner of a wife. I warned you, did I not? And yet you did as you saw fit. And the children, what do they know of tradition or honor? They are being raised in a virtuous family, father. And now you're speaking like a lowborn who's content to live in humility. Twins willing, now that I'm here, this will not happen again. I'm taking your oldest son to the capital. I see you cannot provide Stephen with a proper education, so I will correct your mistake. Jesus. Your brother's fate has been decided just like that. Father does not object. He orders the servants to prepare Stephen for the journey. Stephen freezes in place, glancing at grandfather and father again and again. The latter puts a hand on his shoulder reassuringly. Grandfather's lips are a tight line, white with contempt. The house is examined, room after room. Everything grandfather sees is showered with scorn. He scoffs at a crease on a blanket in Nathan's crib in mother's bedroom. He mocks Gloria's knitting in her room. The door to your room is next. What is this? What is this, Robert? 10 soldiers in your younger son's room? He was born a commoner. I won't have him daydreaming of battle. Grandfather seizes the box containing the 10 warriors of the Holy Order. Your father stays silent. Anger and fear boil within you. This is your big present from the first day of your studies. It means so much to you. But what if he's right? What if you need to prove your right to command the toy soldiers first? Grandfather shakes his head in disapproval and shoves the toy box in the roaring fireplace. If you wait too long, they will melt in the flames. Boy, this dude. This dude. Okay. Oh boy. Now, if I strike grandfather, I'll get determination, perception, and deaths. Oh lord. And Gregor Brante will go down by 1. My destiny of beyond will go up by 1. If I watch them melt helplessly, I will gain more willpower and more perception. Oof. And if I burst into tears, I'll lose willpower, and things will go down with Gregor Bronte. Oof. Okay. So I'm either going to strike my grandfather, or I'm going to watch them melt helplessly. I think I'll go ahead and watch them melt helplessly, because I'll get +5 willpower and I'll get 1 perception. And I think that'll kind of help me in the long run. Now this does give me a lot more overall. Of course, it gives me an extra death too. Oof. But I get and actually, I think if I get that +1 perception, I think that'll throw me into the next bracket too. But I don't want to start racking up deaths and I'm a child, so I'll watch them melt helplessly. It's unfortunate, but I guess it's part of growing up in this douche world. The wood crackles, tin melts. The unpleasant smell of burning paint fills the room. Father grimly orders the servants to douse the fire and clean the mess that was your birthday present just a few months ago. You watch the servants at work with a strange fascination, experience an odd feeling of freedom. It all seems right now. It's time for you to grow up. Grandfather leaves to examine the other rooms of the house. Alright, so I am now energetic and I am inquisitive. Oh, okay, so if I get 7, then I'll be insightful. Okay, so I might just go ahead and do 1 more perception so I can get the insightful trait, and then I'll go from there. Oh, this goes from... Oh, okay, this goes all the way to 30. Jesus, okay. The year 1124, the fall, the master of the house. Soon grandfather leaves. Your elder brother Stephen goes with him. From that day on, father's hired teachers tend to you alone. They bore you with monotonous lectures on writing, counting, and the way of life of the blessed Archnean Empire. You often distract yourself from their instructions by playing with your younger brother Nathan. Your home grows quiet without your elder brother. Too quiet. Weeks later, your family receives a letter from Stephen. Grandfather has sent him to a boarding school for nobles, and he is now studying hard in preparation for his service as a nobleman. The rules here are way too strict. You can't even sneeze without the teacher's permission. But I've been studying with my peers. We're learning how to live as nobles in a society of nobles. We're also learning the art of swordplay. That's my favorite part. With Stephen now at the boarding school, grandfather arrives once more, this time to live in your home. The only good thing is that he often has urgent business in Eterna, the capital of the empire, and has to travel there. One day you ask mother where he lived before. In Eterna, she says, but now his place is here. Each time grandfather returns, he gives the servants new orders. Your home is now always busy with repairs. The servants are redecorating grandfather's chambers, including his library and sitting room. Sometimes father tries to gently talk him out of this, why subject the house to constant reconstruction. Grandfather answers is always the same. This home is mine, and I will live here as befits a man of the nobility. Good God, will you please die? An illustrious guest. Some days grandfather stays home, and on those days you try your best to stay out of his sight. But there's no way you can avoid family breakfast. The food is there, but you cannot bring yourself to eat it. Mother's eyes are red and swollen. She's been crying all night again. Grandfather sits at the head of the table where nobody used to sit before. Robert, it is high time your youngest sons underwent their sacraments. Sir Brante, please let them live free of the lot for a while longer. There, but shut your mouth. Robert, that wife of yours is impertinent enough to interrupt me. If this ever happens again, she'll be eating her gruel with servants in the kitchen where she belongs. It is time you considered a real marriage. Robert, one to a woman of the proper station. Good God, this dude. Gloria drops her fork. Grandfather shoots her a scathing look. A tear rolls down mother's cheek. Father does not look away from the plate, his hands clenched into fists. Baroness El Lador is such woman. She is calmly widow and a fine match. She is suing for her inheritance right now and could use proper support and a husband. You can keep your lowborn Lydia around if you like. Servant, kept woman, lover, I don't care. I will not do that, Father. I am the head of this family, and the family standing took a severe blow after you married that commoner. It is unthinkable. How could you give up the memory of beautiful Amalia Elborn for this lowly woman and that bastard child of hers? But now you have a chance to set things right. Don't disappoint me. Father nods curtly, trying not to look in Mother's direction. Father, I wish to see Stephen. If I find your conduct in the Baroness's presence satisfactory enough, then you may see him. She's coming for a visit tomorrow. Be prepared. Oh, this dude. Grandfather wipes his mouth with his napkin, throws it into his plate, and leaves. Mother's lips move silently. Nobody says a word. Then Father stands up and orders you and the other children back to your rooms. He needs to speak to Mother in private. Father comes to your room before bedtime. He sits on the edge of the bed and adjusts a crease on the woolen blanket. He distanced himself from you after Stephen's departure, so you are not used to such attention. In the candlelight, you can see his face in the dark. There's a sour expression on it. My son, Baroness Emma El Lador, will be visiting us tomorrow. Please be polite and treat her with respect. Nathan will do as you do. I want this dinner to be as immaculate as possible. Don't let them down. On the next day, Mother starts dressing you and Nathan for the coming dinner. You see red all around her eyes. She's been crying, and for a long time. It hurts just to look at her. Nathan starts whining quietly. You and Nathan are dressed in new doublets, your tousled hair brushed into shape. Gloria is told to stay in her room. Father appears wearing his best suit. Mother is in a humble brown dress, looking pale. Grandfather has an uncharacteristically content look about him. You hear the sound of wheels and hooves against the cobbles in the yard. Then a pair of dainty heels come clacking. The antechamber is completely quiet and still, fearing Grandfather's observant eye. The door opens. You see your guest, a beautiful dark-haired woman in a dress of elegant deep blue. Father takes the hand of Lady El Lador and kisses it, showering her in compliments. Grandfather's face is beaming in her presence. No one even bothers to introduce Mother. Baroness, allow me to introduce you to Robert's sons, Daeron and Nathan Brante. Frankly, it is his eldest, Stephen, who deserves the most attention, but currently he is studying in the Turner with other young noblemen like himself. It is my hope that his younger sons will also make me proud one day. Lying son of a bitch. Grandfather eyes you with a probing look. How will you act in front of the Baroness? Will you accept her here next to your mother, your father's rightful wife? Jesus. Oh, why do I have to be here for this? Okay. So I can either maintain my composure and lose some of my willpower, walk away with Mother, lose some of my reputation but gain unity, or I can greet the Baroness politely, gain reputation but lose unity. Oh boy. Decisions. Well, I don't lose anything with Gloria. And I gain with Robert and Gregor. So that might help me out in the long run. So I will greet the Baroness politely. It's not like I have any love for my mother. You follow Father's example and kiss the Baroness's fingers gently. Her laughter fills the antechamber, ringing like chimes. You gallantly offer to lead her to the sitting room. Lady Elidor graciously agrees. Behind your back, you can hear Mother sobbing. Grandfather and Baroness Elidor engage in small talk over dinner. She tells him of the woes of litigation over her late husband's inheritance, and he advises her like the judge he is. Father is mostly silent, only getting in a word or two. You do your absolute best to behave yourself. After the decorous farewells to Lady Elidor, Father quietly thanks you for your model behavior. The morning after, he leaves for a Turner with Grandfather to visit Stephen. Mother spends almost an entire day in her bedroom. You cannot bring yourself to speak to her. Father returns from the capital in a quiet rage. You overhear your parents talking. Apparently, Grandfather has already poisoned Stephen's mind against him, and he greeted Father with cold hostility. The name of Baroness Elidor is never mentioned in the house again. Jesus, so it didn't even do any good in the end. This dude. Well, at least my father has some sympathy for me. Maybe he can help me out later on. Gregor is indifferent. Let me see. I hold a modest position in as far as the family. Well, the family has a modest position, but we don't have much unity. I suspect that one of these days I'm gonna have a glorious house, but no unity at all. We'll see how it goes. And now I'm 7 in the year 1125. The Kaleidoscope. Father now checks on your studies often and nitpicks you for sitting or eating or speaking in an incorrect fashion. Once he becomes so annoyed, he says that he wishes Stephen had been the one to stay home instead of you. You never expected to hear those words from your father, of all people. Great, he's also turning into a dick. Grandfather's trip to the capital took longer than expected. It feels lighter around the house without his presence. You allow yourself a little change of scenery. Instead of your room, you now busy yourself with reading and calculations in the sitting room across from the open door to the yard. Gloria has joined you today. She has already helped you progress through several complex passages in the book. Right now, she seems preoccupied with a strange tube. Aren't you hurt by the way Grandpa treats you, you ask? Gloria just shrugs. Grandfather always says they should get rid of me. I'm used to it now. He hurts you a lot worse because you're closer to him. I just have to stay out of his way. That's it. I suspect it won't be that easy. She shows you the strange tube she has been holding all day. Look, it's a kaleidoscope. I got it as a gift. Want to see inside? Excited by the idea, you close the book and peer into the tiny hole on one end of the tube. Your eye sees a multitude of intricate patterns. Each turn of the tube reveals a new web of interwoven colors. They mesmerize you. The kaleidoscope turns the fire burning in the fireplace into a cavalry made of flames. You are riding at the front of the fire a horseman, ready to face the enemy. Grandfather's face emerges from the intersecting lines, and you swing the kaleidoscope like a sword, cutting it in half. Now you look at the blue sky through the window. The patterns are unending, secretive, and calm and peaceful, just like Father's smile before Grandfather's invasion. The deep blue gives way to a scattering of gold radiating gentle warmth like Mother's arms. This fleeting beauty too soon gives way to a hypnotic new pattern. Again and again you see your family in these interconnecting figures as they come together and break apart. And in the middle of this golden glow, you see glorious green eyes gazing at you observantly. Your sister left you long ago. The books are abandoned and time slips away unchecked, but you are still busy peering into the kaleidoscope. Order emerges from the chaos before your eyes again and again, but you cannot preserve it, no matter how you try. You're caught in an inner conflict. There is so much that can be done with this kaleidoscope. Should you take it apart, or ask Gloria how it works, or keep enjoying the patterns it shows you? But you still have lessons to do today. If I take it apart, my determination goes up. If I keep looking through it, my willpower goes up. If I take it apart, I lose willpower, but I gain perception. Interesting. My determination is at 4, so I can become resolute if I go ahead and go back to my studies. Yeah, I think I'll get another shot to get my perception up. So let's go ahead and get over to the next one, and then the next choice, I'll increase my perception so that way I'll be in the final tier. So, return to my studies. I do lose willpower, though. Oh, I lose willpower either way. Shite. Unless I keep looking through the Kaleidoscope. Then again, I suspect we're near the end of this chapter, so maybe I should go ahead and go all in to perception. Yeah, let me go ahead and let me go ahead and go all in on perception and get that last point. You examine the Kaleidoscope as curiosity overtakes you. There's something strange roaming around inside it. It has to be a mystery of some kind. You're dying to figure it out, itching to understand how it works. You rip away the wooden cylinder on the wide end of the Kaleidoscope. Inside, you see 3 elongated mirrors, put together to form a triangle. The transparent glass shield falls out and onto your knees. A bunch of glittering tiny glass baubles scatter on the table. There was nothing infinite inside it. You realize it was just a clever trick. With a heavy heart, you go to your sister's room to confess to breaking the Kaleidoscope. Gloria is sad but not angry with you. She asks you to promise never to take her things apart again. You promise. Alright, so now I'm insightful, and that's as high as I can go, unless I just go to 10. So, and I lose some willpower. So there's that. Sweet temptation. Grandfather's visits are no longer a cause for fear and panic in the house. He has become something you are used to, something nagging yet not unordinary, like a splinter or stain on your trousers. The tension still remains, however. Grandfather's disdain for everyone in the house is so palpable, it almost stings for real. Your lessons with the tutor are done for today. You're walking down the stairs when you spot Gloria peeping into the sitting room through a slightly open door. You sneak up on your sister and tap her lightly on the shoulder. She's startled. Oh, it's you, Daeron. Look, Grandpa's eating something. Grandfather is sitting on the sofa, flipping through a book with one hand and reaching for a glass bowl with another now and then. Inside the bowl you see candied fruit, a sweet confectionery forbidden to the common estate, like all sweet things. Yet Grandfather's face shows no pleasure as he keeps consuming the high-born treats. The clock strikes 3. Grandfather rises from his seat, puts away the bowl on the shelf, and leaves for the yard. He always takes a walk in the city at this time. Gloria nudges you with your elbow and looks at the candy bowl when you look at her. The first emotion you feel is fear, but next comes curiosity, and it is stronger. Stephen used to boast that candied fruit tastes incredible, and now you have a perfect opportunity to try it. You try candied fruit first. The sugar starts to melt as soon as you put it on your tongue. It's so sweet. You've never eaten anything as good as this. You take the whole bowl off the shelf and give it to your sister. She takes a fruit and brings it to her mouth, carefully, like a rare treasure. There is a thumping on the stairs, footsteps accompanied by the knocking of a walking stick. You have no idea why, but Grandfather is back. You quickly hide behind the sofa and pull Gloria after you, but she is frozen in place with the bowl in her hands. The door opens. Grandfather's menacing figure advances on Gloria. His hands seizes her arm. You squalid, ungrateful, low-born child. How dare you bite the hand that feeds you? You and your trollop of a mother would be sleeping in a ditch if it weren't for my spineless son. That is true. He is pretty spineless, so it seems. The sweet and pleasant things in life are for the noble estate, not for the likes of you. Did you forget your lot? His hand swings and hits Gloria on the cheek. She falls to the floor right next to where you are hidden. Her fingers glisten with the warm melted sugar that brought you here. Grandfather advances again, his walking stick ready, but then he sees you huddling behind the armchair. Please don't hurt him, Sir Brante. This is all my fault. He tried to stop me. You can already see a bruise on Gloria's cheek. This is only the beginning of her punishment. Gloria was caught red-handed, unlike you. You can still avoid your punishment. What is it then, milksop? Did you try the sugar too? Or were you trying to stop the piece of filth like she said? This piece of filth like she says. Oof, boy. I don't have the determination for that. I could have had the determination for that. Boy. Let's see. If I lie, my relationship with Gloria goes down. If I tell the truth, my perception goes up, my willpower goes down, and it's already at 5. So I will have 0 willpower. Great. Shite. Tell the truth or lie. Oh boy. I do need willpower. And me and Gloria have pretty much always had a good relationship. Shit. Oh, well, she's indifferent. And this will just put her, welp. Ah, boy. Sorry, Gloria, but I'm gonna have to just throw you up under the bus this time. Lie. Oh, God, that sucks. You stand up and start talking. Yes, Gloria was telling the truth. You were trying to stop her. Grandfather tilts his head as he keeps you transfixed by his inhospitable, bitter gaze. Then why did you hide behind the armchair like a petty thief? It was all Gloria, you tell him. She told you to hide. Gloria looks at you with pain and disappointment when you say this. Grandfather nods, satisfied by your answer. He tells you to stay and watch him punish Gloria. Oh, freak. For the first time in your life, you see somebody else being punished. Her skin split apart by Grandfather's walking stick. Her clothes getting soaked in blood as she writhes in agony. Night comes, but Gloria's sobbing keeps you awake. You go to her bedroom and try to calm her down, but a muffled "go away" is her only reaction. She lied to Grandfather for you, so why is she angry with you now? Mother takes Gloria to church the next morning. They return late in the afternoon, and Gloria begs Father on her knees for forgiveness. She will never ever take what she does not deserve by birth, she pleads. She does not look at you, not even once. Oh boy. And I got some of my willpower back, yay. Sorry, Gloria. The sacrament. Father and Mother have been focused on Nathan and you since early morning. Instead of breakfast, you are told to say your prayers, wash your hands and faces, and get dressed in plain white shirts. Today is the day of your sacrament. Mother, I want to go play in the yard. No playing today. You and Daeron are big boys now. It is time for you both to have your first sacrament. No one can live without a lot. I don't want a lot. Be quiet and listen. You were born commoners, so you must accept a low-born lot before the twins. When you grow up, you will get a chance to earn a noble lot. Father and Mother take you to the carriage. Nathan is hungry. He starts whining. Grandfather is the last to get in the carriage. His eyes are on you and your brother, looking for every fault. Soon the carriage is moving along the streets of Anazet, slowly and solemnly. One more turn and you see the colossal white building marked by 2 massive pillars. For the first time in your life, you are to enter the Church of the Living Gods. You enter the gate and walk under the splendorous dome of the church. The church hall is divided into 2 halves. They are drastically different from one another. The floor on one side is rough and jagged and covered in dried brown spots, while the floor on the other is made of smooth marble. The commoners kneel on the jagged floor, and the well-dressed nobles and their families sit on pews. Father and Grandfather leave you to sit on one of the nobles' pews. Mother walks to the rough stone of the commoner's side and gets down on her knees. You see her wince in pain, for the lowborn estate shall suffer in the house of the faith. The church acolytes surround you and lead you to the altar, where you and other children will take your sacrament this day. Before you stands a tall priest dressed in black, with a sword in one hand and a hefty whip in the other. Nathan's whining grows louder. He dislikes this place. He's scared. You remain quiet, but your stomach rolls in uneasy anticipation. The first child to take the sacrament is a jaunty little boy from a family of nobles. The priest extends the sword before him and recites the words of his lot. From this day forth he will fight and rule and pursue the arts, his mind now forever free from the throes of suffering, for he now belongs to the noble lot. The boy proudly touches the flat of the blade with his lips. Nathan is next to receive the sacrament. He suddenly snaps out of his fearful trance and tries to break free, but the acolyte pulls him towards the altar and throws him on the jagged floor on the lowborn side. The sharp edges bite into Nathan's knees as he lands, spraying drops of red around him. Jesus. I don't wanna. Daeron, why do you want to whip me? What did I do? Jesus, I'm messing up. Sorry about that. You try to break free and run to Nathan's side. You want to give him courage and protect him, but the acolyte's grip on you is too firm. You feel utterly helpless. Your little brother has to face the world all by himself. The priest starts reciting the words of the lot as he swings the lash over Nathan's shoulder. From this day forth, Nathan, thou shalt endure and work and suffer. Thou shalt be ardent in thy labor and humble in obedience to thy rulers. And now cometh thy first true suffering, which thou must accept with gratitude. The lash cracks. It strikes his right shoulder. It strikes his left shoulder. The blows are so powerful that Nathan falls to the floor. The priest tells him to rise. He has received his lot. Nathan gets on his feet and drags himself towards Mother, his knees torn and bloodied, his spirit broken. It is your turn. Your feet will not move. You can barely muster enough strength to walk to the altar. You get down on your knees and feel the sharp stones below, so sharp your clothing cannot protect you. Your skin begins to burn. The acolyte forces your head down. You feel the lash being drawn above you, ready to strike. The priest's words are for you now. This is thy sacrament. Thou shalt work and endure and suffer. Thou art about to receive thy first true suffering by the sacred lash. Dost thou accept thy lot? I can accept it, lose determination, but gain perception. I could raise my head and lose willpower. I can catch the lash and gain determination. Or I can kiss the sword. If I kiss the sword, I lose all my willpower, but I gain the nobleman's, or I get the destiny of the nobleman's sacrament, and I get +1 Gregor Brante. Interesting. I think I'll do that, and I'll just have to work on my willpower after that. But I mean, I haven't had that much willpower, and it seems like you get them in batches of 5. So let's do that. I'm gonna kiss the sword. The whip slices through the air, about to strike, but your eyes are transfixed by the blade that the priest holds in his other hand. You jump up and away. The lash misses you. You grab the blade with your hands. It cuts into them without mercy. The priest wrenches it away from your bloodied fingers. You look him straight in the eye. I am Daeron of House Brante. The priest freezes in shock. You seize this moment to pull the sword closer and kiss the smooth, cold blade. You hear cries of outrage among the churchgoers. Mother prostrates herself on the jagged floor, racked with fear. Father remains still, baffled by what you have just done. But grandfather looks at you intently, as though truly seeing you for the first time. There is a semblance of respect in his gaze. You are forced back to the commoner's place at the altar. The acolytes seize you by the arms and legs and keep your face bent closely to the bloody, jagged stones of the floor. The lash strikes your right shoulder, then your left shoulder. You are told to rise. You are a commoner. Mother takes your hand and leads you out of the church. Once you are outside, she scolds you for being insubordinate and bringing shame to your family. Nathan holds your hands as you walk, his tearful face a mixture of confusion and awe as he looks into your eyes. But you do not feel as though you have made a mistake. You did what was right. Okay. I got +1 with Gregor Brante. I lost all my willpower. Alright, and now I have done the sacrament. Okay, I had to have greater than or equal to 5 and kiss the sword. Okay. The year 1125, childhood's end. The mark left on you by the sacrament takes a long, long time to heal. Mother says it is a reminder of your lot, suffering and sufferance, pain and patience. Gloria shows you the mark of the lash on her right shoulder one day. It will never disappear. You are a commoner now. This is the lot you were born into. But Father keeps telling you to study hard so you may yet earn a different lot and become noble of the mantle. You recall the past with warm sadness when Stephen still lived with you, or when he wrote to you for a time shortly after he left. Now he thinks it beneath him to write to the commoners in his family. Mother didn't lock herself in the bedroom as often back then. This changed shortly before Nathan was born. But most importantly, you missed the time before the terrifying figure of your grandfather was constantly looming over you. You learned the true power of the lot only after the head of the family's arrival. In grandfather's eyes, no commoner deserves to be treated with kindness. Is this just him, or is it the way of the entire world? The very thought makes you uneasy, or queasy, excuse me. You are older now, and what's more, you are an elder brother now. You've learned how to care about someone else, how to teach and protect. Soon, you are a small boy no longer. As the days pass, play gradually gives way to laborious study. Now your choices will decide your place in the bizarre and ruthless world of adulthood. Your childhood years are over. End of chapter 1, childhood. Alright, so here's my stats and here's my timeline for everything. Okay, I had to make some unsavory choices, but yeah, that's where we are standing right now. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it right here. And if there's enough views for the video and enough likes for the video, if you want to see more of this or whatever, then I'll continue on with chapter 2, which is the only other chapter that's out right now. But if I don't revisit this, I hope you do pick it up. Again, the link is in the description, so go ahead and check it out for yourself. And you can check out the Steam store page and any other content they have. So, anywho, thank you for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, like the video, and if you want to see more videos from me, I have plenty of stuff on my channel. I have plenty of stuff to come in the future. So yeah, thank you for watching. See you in the next one.